Hello again. So on the last video, I edited a photo of my son, and on this video, this is my nephew, Jaden. Well, it's my daughter's cousin. Her dad and I are not married or anything, so I guess technically, but I consider him my nephew, so yeah. I am going to edit this the way I normally would. I found this photo. I have a few of him in this hat, and he had my old camera, my old film camera on. This was actually in 2017, so he's a bit older than this now, but beautiful eyes, beautiful skin tone. I always love taking pictures of him and his brothers. So, again, I'm going to start with smoother, no detail. Just press continue and use a soft white brush at 50% opacity, blah, 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 blah. It automatically chooses the brush tool. So the opacity is already on 42%. This is on 9. I'm going to bring it up to like 55 using my left bracket key. Right bracket key makes it larger, left bracket key makes it smaller. And then I'm going to go. So you don't want to get over any creases unless, I mean, I don't really care if they're under his eyes, just because I'm probably going to use the dark circle minimizer under his eyes anyway. But you don't want to get like the edge of his face like I just did. Not that it's super noticeable. Plus I'm gonna bring down the opacity on the entire layer once I'm done with this. So looks like he was like eating chocolate or something. I don't know, probably. I was babysitting him, so that would not surprise me in the least. Just basically go over. I like smoother, no detail the best out of these smoothing brushes. I used to use the Flawless Skin Blend. I don't anymore. It's just so involved, and this obviously already takes a really long time just to use Photoshop to edit one photo. So whatever you can do to minimize the amount of time you spend on one photo and memorize what you're doing so that you get consistency in your work, do it. And since I'm doing his face, I'm going to do the rest of his skin, because it will look weird if I don't. And like I said, I know it looks really soft right now, but kind of fake. I'm going to minimize the opacity on the layer. Just a second. Alright, so I'm going to go over here, and if you click it on and off, you can see exactly like what that did. Made it very smooth, and I'm going to go ahead and lower it a little bit just because it looks extremely overdone. I can always go back, fix it later. I don't know what is going on around his mouth, but I'm going to not do that. So Control-Alt-Z takes you a step backward, or you can go up here to edit, go to step backward. I guess it would be Command-Z or Command-Alt-Z. I'm not sure on a Mac because I have a PC. Alright, so make sure this is selected and not the gray mask. Just going to go over around his mouth. See if that helps. If not, I can always use like clone stamp tool or something later on. It's weird because I didn't notice that in any of the other pictures of him, so I don't know if it's lighting or if he ate something. Holding Z down, pressing Alt will do zoom out instead of zoom in. Alright, that's pretty good. right there. I don't know if I should, so I'm going to leave it on like 67%. That did a really good job of cleaning up his face. Shooting in RAW definitely captures every detail, but it also captures every imperfection as well. I'm going to go over here to Corrector Dark Circles, and you use the eyedropper tool. You click OK and then OK, and you just basically go, it's dark right here, you go right underneath that to whatever the skin color is right there. Press OK. It says use a soft white brush at 50% opacity, and I'm going to do that. I believe I have, yeah, the softest brush I can have. Just go over that darkness until it lightens up a little bit. It might be a little bit too much. I'm going to lower it just a bit, 58%. Don't want them to look fake, so probably 46. And then right click and flatten the image. Then for the other eye, you basically do the same thing over again. Because it's darker on this side of his face because of the shadows, obviously the color underneath his eye. It would look weird if you used the same color as over here. Again, I'm going to lower it just a tad. And then right click, flatten it again. I actually skipped a step. Usually I do this skin tone fresh, hit continue, and this one you don't have to do it at such a low opacity, but I'm going to leave it there anyway. I can always, it's only on 50 over here, so if I like it and I want it done more, I can always raise the opacity over here. But this just really brightens up the skin, eyes, hair, anything you touch with it, really. It just makes it pop. See? I like that. It's a little much. Just going to leave it on 63. And go down here to Skin Tone Blush, hit continue. This one I'm going to lower the opacity quite a bit because it's, I mean, he doesn't wear blush. I mean, he's a kid. Just kind of touch it up a little bit. Boop. And then take that, go way down, like 15%. Gives him a little bit of color in his cheeks, but not enough to look like I put makeup on him or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. And I'm going to start on his eyes. By the way, I'm using the Greater Than Gatsby Innocence Retouch collection again. This is what I use on like every face. Child, adult, baby. There are other action sets that you can use on adults and babies, and I have them. I just have gotten really used to using this. It's got everything I need, and I know how to use them. So unless I want to learn something new, which don't really have the time to right now, I'm just going to keep using this. So on this, I'm probably going to lower the flow a little bit. This really brings out the green in his eyes, the highlights. And you'll see that as soon as I back up, and you just go over the whole thing. Zoom out. And that's probably, I think, too much. It brightens up his eyes really nicely, but I'm going to lower it just a little bit because I want to. If you want to use these, you can. Like Iris Enhance Brightness. Go and really zoom in really far. Hit B to get back to your brush. And it says to avoid the highlight, so we're not going to do it here, and we're not going to do it here. We are going to just brighten up what we can. Really make those beautiful eyes stand out. The kid's got some gorgeous eyes. Ooh. She's got some gorgeous kids. His brother Jonathan has baby blue eyes. Yeah. I'm going to zoom out. Take a look at what that did. I like it. Still, still kind of feel like this is a little bit too much. Take it down to 15. And then this is on 60. I actually liked it better. It's probably too much. I'm going to put it on 54. Excuse my very loud chair. Again. Alright. Now, you can use the darken rim one. Basically go in and just, I forgot what they call that, but the darkness around your rim is actually a sign of youth, and it fades as you get older. So with kids, I do like to, it's set 100% opacity, but I just feel like it's getting a little crazy with that. You just basically go around the eye, giving him a very youthful look. Not that he doesn't look youthful because he's a kid, but alright, if you can see the difference when you click on and off. Let's see if there's anything else that we want to. I'm not going to use shape light. I do always use soft sharpen, but first I think I'm going to go lashes, darken and thicken. I'm going to keep it zoomed in like this because I want to make sure to get each lash and not his eye. Because if I'm zoomed out, I usually do accidentally kind of get the eye. Just basically go over the eyes, eyelashes. And this looks like you do this on adult women and you can almost touch up their makeup. I try not to do it too pronounced on kids because they don't really wear makeup. Sometimes they do when they're getting their photos done, depending on the age and the parent. And then I'm going to, I'm going to go back and adjust the opacity, but while we're zoomed in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do brow rich in color. You can't really see one of them. I don't know what it being in the shadows is going to do, but it should be fine. It really brings out his eyebrows. There. And then lastly, this I actually do put up at 100% opacity. I might leave it at 31 still, but on the flow. But this just really brings the eyes out. Just go over them a little bit to bring them very sharp and in focus. And then zoom out. You notice a lot more when you're zoomed out than you do when you zoomed in. So, like for instance, his eyes didn't look very red when I was zoomed in, but they do kind of look a little bit red, but I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it for now. So, enhance brightness, I wanted to keep that one. Darken rim, I like that one the way it is. Darken, thicken lashes. I actually really like that. It's not too much, I don't think. Richen brows. I like that too. This soft sharpen though, I think it's a little bit too much. I'm actually gonna maybe, I think I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit and paint some of it off of his eye white because it's making his eyes look redder. I like what it's doing to the iris and his lashes, but not so much right here. So I'm just gonna make my brush black instead of white, and painting that on is basically going to take off whatever part I'm trying to get off of there. So zoom back out. Come on. Still looks a little fake. I don't know if it's this or the eye foundation. It's not that. It looks good, I think. I'll go ahead and flatten that. And go down here to, I mean, his teeth aren't showing, so I'm not going to do pearly whites. I think I'm going to do a really light soft gloss. It just smooths the lips a little bit, doesn't really like add color, not too much anyway. It's like a light pink, I think, but we shall see. Bring that down to like 36. Just start to paint over here. It's probably, yeah, pretty pink, so let me back up and see if it's, bring that way down. That's good. Kind of looks like he's wearing makeup. It's barely noticeable, so flatten image. And then go down here to dodge and burn. For this one, you're going to want to keep, I actually keep the opacity kind of low. I think it says 100%, and then this you lower, but I usually have mine on 9, just because I feel like it's really strong. If you have it on, you know, it says 5 to 15%, so I choose 9. Right bracket to enlarge your brush. And then basically you just go around and emphasize all the lines, and especially shadows. Anywhere there's a shadow, you're gonna, right now we're burning. That's why I have this brush has to be black. I changed this to darken, and I'm on burn the shadows. So and then right here is dodge the highlights. So we would turn it white, we go to lighten, keep it on the same opacity and flow though. You're just kind of creating depth in your image. So let's see. It's not like super noticeable until you click it on and off. To make my brush a little smaller and go over his nose. His eyes. Eyelids. Just basically wherever there's a shadow. And then I'm going to go up here to dodge the highlights, switch my brush to white, hit lighten, and then make my brush bigger. And like I said in the last video, this is like contouring. So, you know, when you're contouring your face, if you're a female, you put your bronzer like here, here, down the sides of your nose, and then you go back with highlighter and you just highlight. That's basically what you're doing. You're contouring their face digitally. I like to get the highlights in the eyes, these little ones on their lower lashes. Here on their eyelid. Same concept where you see a highlight, you go over it. What's this one? It doesn't need to be perfect. And so, as you can see, I always lower this just because it's very strong. That's not what I was trying to do. Click on the entire thing, lower all of it. I actually really like that, so I think I'm going to leave it like that, flatten it. I'm going to go down here and click my favorite artistic enhancement, Lemonade. Go about 50%, 52%. It really brightens up the image, warms the skin. I love what it does, so that's one that I really like. And then these, I don't really use all that much. One that I do, supercalifragilistic, and I lower it a lot because it's also very strong. It makes them look like a little doll or something. It enhances the smoothness that you already did on their skin, but I take it down to like 16 to 20%. Still like seeing that chocolate or whatever that is around his mouth. So I'm going to flatten it, hit Control J to create a identical layer. I'm going to go over here to my clone stamp tool. This is like really good for fixing things. So you're going to want to make it very teeny tiny. I do 100% on both. Basically what you're doing is you're choosing a source destination. So you hold Alt down and then you click right next to whatever you're trying to cover up. It's going to take this skin and bring it over here. Super simple, but super effective as well. So I'm going to use that around his mouth to see if I can't make it look a little less dirty. All these little spots are in his mouth. And I'm clicking Alt every single time I do this. Those ones are too light, so Control Alt Z to back up. You have to make sure that you get the skin right next to it, or you'll be able to see the difference in skin tone. See, yeah, like right here, I don't know. I don't know if I can bring that over. That should be fine. Clean up. Right. You don't have to get everything. I tend to see a lot more once I'm zoomed in like this. So zoom back out and I'll show you exactly what that did. I'm actually going to touch up right here just a little bit more. I think that's much better. And you can you can really see clicking on and off the layer. I don't know how natural that looks. You can always make it less, which I think I'm going to do. It's not so harsh. And then flatten that. And you're pretty much done from there. You can export it like that, or you can continue to play around with the image, put a vignette on it. I really like this auto histogram fix. It really brightens up the image. I like this soft spotlight one too. That is too much. Yeah. You can always lower it, but it's already at 20%, so I don't know what good that's going to do you. It just kind of blows out his cheek and doesn't really brighten anything else. I guess, though, you could go over here and click on the mask and paint it off of his cheek. Oh, my bad. Brush. Oh, crap. It's because his face is brighter on this side. I'm just going to paint it off of here a little bit. Off of his lips. I do like what it does to his eyes, though, because they're hidden under his cap. So take that off as well. Not too much. I'm not doing it at 100%. I like the way it brightens up his eyes, but it's a little bit too much on his cheek. And then I'm going to use this Fill Flash brush to maybe brighten up right here. And then lower it. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and flatten that. And go up to these, because it's kind of looks like a vintage photo, so I'm going to see what these look like on it. These tend to be a little overdone, so I definitely lower these quite a bit. Sometimes paint them off the eyes as well. I really like that. Love Joplin. Always have. Ooh. I feel like it really smooths, it makes it look a little more natural. I think I am going to go ahead and just swipe a little bit to get it off his eyes. I go down here. 11%. And then I really love these deep, rich vignettes. Here's obsidian, amber. Love that. Sapphire. Cools down the image significantly, I think. I'm not sure about that one at all. I feel like it makes skin tones look weird. As does that one. I mean, you can always lower them to suit what you're going for, but I really like this amber one. Yeah, love it. So those painterly, and then these are really good. I know I already did supercalifragilistic, but I'm going to go ahead and flatten this, even though it would flatten it for me anyway. I think I'm going to go with Radiant, or see what it looks like anyway. And these are always way overdone. I always lower these to like 25%. Kind of adds that shade back in under his cap, but I mean, I do love it. Let's see. Perfect. Whoa. Done at 20. I really do like that. Maybe even at 15. I think that's good, but I've been staring at it for a while, so I don't know if it's... And then let's try supercalifragilistic again. Way fake. Take that down to 20. I don't know. Let's try delicate. Let's try pearl. I like that. I don't know, it's doing something weird to his skin, like making it look mottled. I might lighten up the image a little bit. Just underexposure quick fix. Just do the tiniest amount. It's quite a bit, actually. Now let's try these. go to magic.